Hi, it's Darren and welcome back to another Walking with Charlie. So I have to thank you for watching these videos. They've become very popular. Charlie's becoming a bit of a celebrity, and unfortunately, like many celebrities, he's got a substance abuse problem. He's addicted to tennis balls. So I'm going to show you some video in a sec to just show you the extent of the problem we're having. I'll also confess I'm a bit of an enabler. When I went to Costco, like everybody else, to get toilet paper, I also got him a case of 36 brand new fluffy tennis balls, because he's got to get through this too, right? We got to help him out. We got to get through this. Okay, so we've all been good boys and girls practicing our social distancing, trying to flatten the curve and stop the virus from spreading. We're all doing a good job with that, I hope. But I want to talk today about making sure your money is able to go the distance. We know that even before this pandemic happened, that many North American families would have really struggled if they'd had a financial emergency of even a few $100s. And I think many of us would struggle if we missed just a couple of paychecks. And unfortunately, many people are missing more than a couple of paychecks through this. And yes, we're seeing some really strong stimulus packages to get money right to people as quickly as possible. But the reality is, it's still going to be a cash flow crunch for a lot of folks. And if you remember from my first video, I mentioned that you're really going to have to make a conscious decision about how you want to go through this pandemic, this sheltering at home, and this disruption that we're all experiencing. And I've encouraged you to really find ways to make this a positive experience, so you come out of this better than maybe you went into this. And a big part of that is going to be how you handle your finances and the decisions you make with money. And in my first video, I mentioned now's a good time to start recording all the data information that you have that other people may need at some point. That's a wise thing to do. I want to go to step 2 now, and I actually want you to take, and again, you're going to have to decide if you want to do this or not, because this one's going to be a bit harder. This is going to take a couple of hours of your time, but it's worth it, and I think you're going to be really happy at the end of it. You might be scared, but you'll be more empowered. So what I want you to do is go on your computer, get your statements out, and I want you to start paying attention to the last 3 months, and like, let's say January, February, March, or even, no, let's go back further. Let's say maybe from November to February, because all this stuff really kind of started happening in February. Because I want to get a sense, or you want to get a sense, I should say, of where's the money going? Where does it go every month? Go over your credit card statements, go over your bank statements. Where did the money go? And I'm going to give you 3 broad categories of how to record this information. The first category is, what did you put aside for your long-term saving? What went into your retirement plan? What did you consciously decide to put aside for the future, the long-term future? That, for most people, is going to be a pretty short list. That won't take very long. The longer list is going to be to record all of your living expenses. This is all the stuff that you spend day to day. Where does it go? And in that category, I want you to include your mortgage or your rent payment. I want you to include your Starbucks, your credit cards, statements that are going to show where all those little impulse buys went, the Christmas presents, the Hanukkah presents, all the stuff that the credit card, the phone bill, all that stuff. Write all that down. That's going to be the biggest category. And the final category is, what did you spend on paying off short-term debt? So what did you pay towards your credit card? Not what you put on your credit card, what were your payments that you made towards it? That you also need to put down your car loan, anything like that. And if you don't have any debt, what do you put aside for a rainy day? Which most people don't do anyway. So you're going to have 3 categories: long-term savings, living expenses, and paying down short-term debt. Now, first thing you're probably going to notice, this adds up to more than 100% of what you make. If that's the case, this is why you're in debt. And if you don't fix this, you're always going to be in debt. And where are you going to be able to fix that problem? Well, have a really close look at what the living expenses category are. And I'll bet right now, you're not saving much money, but you could. Or you're not spending on stuff that you used to spend on. So let's think about that. And many of you may have studied Maslow's hierarchy of needs at some point in school, and you realize that, there's things that we have to spend on, like shelter, security, food. Then there's other stuff that maybe we don't need to spend on. These are the luxury items that we can maybe do without. I read a report the other day that was interesting that said in the last month, toilet paper sales are up 241%. Porsche sales are down 47%. I'll let you make your own joke right there, because there's one in my mind, but I'll let you make your own joke. But we have to really look at what was important. And I think now, as we're having a fundamental change to our lifestyles, we can probably go, maybe there are things I don't need anymore or don't need to spend on. And I need to get control of where does that money go all the time. So the ratio that I want you to work towards as you do this is called 10-70-20. I want you to think about having 10% of your money go towards your future, your long-term future for your retirement, to make sure that one day you can stop working. The next category of living expenses, I want that to be 70% of your paycheck at the most. If you can get lower than that, even better. But let's get this 70. And then the 20% is what I want to be put aside to paying off your short-term debt, getting rid of the credit card debt, car loan debt, boat loan debt, whatever kind of debt you got. And if you do wind up having no more short-term debt, then that 20%, you put that aside for emergency, kind of like now. Because if you had done this a long time ago, you'd have some cash set aside that would be really, really helpful right now for you or those hitchhikers I talked about in a previous video. Now, these fundamentals are very important, and I'm really pleased we're going to have Andrew and Vicky shortly do some webinars on some of these financial planning fundamentals and dig into concepts like this in a bit more detail. And we're going to make those available on our YouTube channel so that everybody can watch them too. I think this is a time where we want to help as many folks as we possibly can. And we're going to start with you. Okay, so that's about it. Charlie and I are going to keep walking. We're going to keep doing our thing. Weather's getting a bit better. It's Easter weekend, so happy Easter. And for those of you that celebrate Passover, I hope you had a joyous and a kosher Passover. So there you go. Have a great day. Get outside, get some air, and do your chores. Talk to you later. Sorry, Charlie, I probably shouldn't have told him about that tennis ball thing. It's a bit embarrassing.